I've got one of my tiger shirts on. I'm ready to talk about The Jungle Book. What is The Jungle Book? Well, it is a retelling of the Disney classic Jungle Book. But in case you've never heard of the Disney classic and don't know what The Jungle Book is, it is about a young child named Mowgli. As a young kid, he was found in the jungle all alone by a panther named Bagheera, who is wonderfully voiced by Ben Kingsley. Bagheera takes the young human cub to this wolf pack, where the wolves raise Mowgli as their own. Well, a major drought happens, a very dry season happens, and when it becomes so severe that a special rock that is usually in a lake or some sort of pond reveals itself, it's called the Peace Rock because there's a truce, because water is more important than eating. So when animals gather to this place to drink, they are to be unharmed. Well, during this truce, a terrible tiger named Shere Khan, played by Idris Elba, discovers young Mowgli, and he does not want humans whatsoever in his jungle. So now, with the threat of this tiger wanting to kill him, Bagheera offers to take Mowgli to a human village where he'll be safe. And so now we have an adventure story as they go through the jungle, and he meets other animals along the way, befriends, and questions whether he should actually go to the human village or stay in the jungle, where he thinks he belongs. Now, calling this a live-action movie is really pushing it, because there really is only one live-action actor in the film. Well, more if you consider the flashback and the human village, but mainly it is just this one unknown actor, this unknown kid. And so a lot of people can look at this production and really worry, because not only is the main character an unknown child actor, but it's also all done in CGI, and so it could bring haunting memories of the Star Wars prequels to some people. But turns out it's doing really well. And I agree, this is a really great film. Now, I did watch the animated Disney classic right after I saw this movie in theaters, because I was curious just how different the films would be. And to be quite honest, I didn't remember The Jungle Book all that much, because even though I watched a lot of Disney classics as a kid and loved a lot of them, The Jungle Book was one of those Disney classics that I honestly didn't really care for. I know that might sound blasphemous for some, but it's just one of the Disney classics that I just never really enjoyed. And having re-watched that, I now understand why I didn't like it as a kid. The new Jungle Book is a total retelling of the classic, but done in a more mature, more complex, a far more superior way. But then again, I don't really have a lot of emotional ties to the original animated film, so it's easy for me to say that. I will say this, it does follow a lot of the same beats and a lot of the same things in the animated classic. However, there are many times where it's done in a different way, it leads up to those beats in a different way, and things definitely feel more complex and mature. I probably could make a separate video of the differences between these two films and why I feel this one is better, but I think I should save that for another video, and I should probably wait till The Jungle Book actually comes out on DVD so I can actually get clips of that with clips of the animated classic. And so for now, I'm just going to talk about the new Jungle Book. I was really impressed with all the voice acting, and I felt that they were perfect matches for the characters that they played. Idris Elba as Shere Khan is completely intimidating. He could be a reason why kids might get scared, but honestly, I think kids can handle a lot more than a lot of people think they can. He's completely badass. He is intimidating. He's a great Shere Khan, and he makes the Shere Khan in the animated film look like a complete wuss, which honestly kind of is. Another perfect cast was Christopher Walken as King Louie, because King Louie is kind of like a mafia person. He's like the mafia of monkeys, and Christopher Walken really does a good job at that, while still having a bit of a humor with the character, because Christopher Walken can really embody that. Got Scarlett Johansson as Kaa, which is the only gender change in this movie. And of course, Bill Murray as Baloo. Now, A lot of people were raving about this when they first heard the cast that was going to be the voices. A lot of people loved this. I was more on the fence because he didn't feel like a Baloo to me. But after watching this movie, Bill Murray's charisma, his voice acting really matches the Baloo in this movie. He's a bit of a con artist. Bill Murray does embody that, but here's an idea. What if there was someone that had Bill Murray's charisma and a lot of the same voice acting style, but had a deeper voice more like John Goodman? A combination of John Goodman's voice and Bill Murray's charisma, if someone had that, that would be the perfect Baloo for me. But there's another voice acting that's not really getting a lot of recognition, and I really should give it more recognition because I was actually stunned by it and actually really loved it. Now I'm not going to say her last name because I know I'm going to get it wrong, but Lupita is the mother wolf in this film. There's more importance to the wolves in this version, which I really enjoyed. I felt Lupita killed it as this mother wolf. I actually really got emotional during the scene where Mowgli had to leave. And I could just feel the great bond she has as she believes this human is her child. She was easily the biggest surprise for me and one of the strongest of all this strong cast of voice actors. I would still put Idris Elba at the top, but Lupita would be a close second or third, depending on where I place Christopher Walken. And this is a very visual movie, very CGI heavy, so I can't help but have to talk about the CGI. The animals, at first, you see that they're definitely CGI, but as the movie progressed, I just really delved into the movie and I just completely forgot I was watching a CGI-filled film. Now again, this could be just because of the story and the voice acting that really helped it, but at some points, I just couldn't tell that I was watching a CGI animal. Now, despite animals talking and a few fantastical moments, this movie is a very realistic telling. And the animals portray that, they really look real. I loved a lot of the ideas, a lot of the interpretations of the movie. There's some really great heavy scenes. There's the whole cuckoo bird reference that Shere Khan mentions. That was a really crazy scene. There's the scene where Mowgli tells the wolf pack that he's going to leave on his own to protect his wolves. Very emotional, especially with Lupita's performance and the child's. I loved how they visually handled the hypnosis of Kaa and his eye and her eyes. Well, it's a her this time. I love that they actually have a backstory for Mowgli, or at least explain what happened to his parents or one of his parents. Whereas the animated film doesn't do that at all. There's just so many great scenes, and like most adventure stories, especially a more realistic telling of a boy in a jungle, there is the impending danger within the movie, but it never got to a point where it was so tense and so dangerous that I felt like that's all it was. There's definitely intense moments, scary moments, moments where animals fight in a very brutal, quick fashion. But honestly, through most of the film, I was smiling ear to ear just watching the thing. Because with amazement of the CGI, amazement of the storytelling, I just really got engaged and I felt like this was a really grand adventure story. Despite the movie being absolutely incredible, there are a few things that I do have slight issues with. For one, I can see how the music in this movie can feel out of place. Now for me, it didn't feel out of place. It actually felt like there was a good lead to them, such as Bare Necessities is sort of hinted at towards an earlier section of the film, and then when it actually plays, it is during a montage. And the I Want to Be Like You moment does feel like it's King Louie trying to coax the kid into giving up the red fire, because that becomes a more important role in this film. Sorry, red flower. They call it's fire, but it's red flower. Felt stupid for saying that. The main reason why I didn't like the first song all that much is because, well, the kid can't really sing all that well, and I don't know, it just made me a little ugh. And of course there are moments where he does look out of place among the CGI. Now I get it, he's a human, everything is CGI, that is to be expected. And so normally I don't nitpick that much when it comes to those things. But it happened in a bit of an inconsistent level. It's usually mainly when it's just him on screen with CGI background and animals in the background. Usually it only happens around those times, but it does happen every so often in other places. Now I will say this, the first time I watched it, I watched a few of the scenes, especially the chase scene at the beginning, and he did look out of place. But I think this is more of a strength to the movie because the story became so engaging, the characters became so engaging, that my first time watching it, as I'm going through the movie, I became less and less aware of those flaws. So much to the point where it felt like I didn't see any of it because I was too engrossed with the story. And so I went to it a second time just focusing on that aspect just to see if there's a lot more that I missed. And again, the story got me so involved that I just stopped paying attention to it and just watched the story again. Now I will admit this, there are a few times where even though the CGI is impressive and realistic, there are moments here and there that do look a little cartoony and out of place. Such as some of the animals sometimes, and the whole mudslide incident looked really cartoony. Other than that, really great, impressive CGI. Then you're probably thinking, well, you know what, if everything else is CGI, why don't they make the human CGI as well? Well, as impressive as animal CGI and background CGI has come from when it started, human CGI or human characters in CGI, I don't think they've proven that they can get this realistic as the animals are in the Jungle Book, and so I feel that there would have been something off about it no matter what. I really haven't seen a movie that proves to me that human CGI characters can be as impressive as the rest of the stuff in Jungle Book. Usually they only do CGI characters for quick stunts and very quick moments where the focus of the camera won't be on them for too long. I think that's the best you can get out of CGI humans, so it makes sense why this is a live action character. I really love this movie, but because I did have a few flaws with it, a few things that are granted nitpicky, but things that I didn't like too much about it, I'm going to have to give The Jungle Book 4.5 stars. So, did you see The Jungle Book? What did you think about it? Go ahead and comment below. And if you like this video and you want to see more, please subscribe and take a look at my 2015 and 2016 movie reviews. As always, this is Bruce Gifford, and this was Just My Opinion.